Look at this sentence. The animal didn't cross the street because it was too tired. Simple, right? But here's the question. What does the word it refer to? The street or the animal? We know the answer immediately. But how do we know? We looked at other words. We connected it to animal, almost without thinking. That single act, one word reaching out to understand another, is the core idea behind self-attention. In the past, recurrent neural networks, or RNNs, read words strictly one by one, left to right, sequential, no going back. By the time the RNN's hidden state reaches the word it, the word animal is already buried in the past. The context and the meaning is gone. This was a major problem we faced in early natural language processing, known as the long-term dependency problem. The system sees the current word, but it loses the broader context. This fundamental flaw in sequential processing held back AI language understanding for a long time. But what if we threw away the sequential method entirely? What if every word could process every other word simultaneously? Instead of a rigid left-to-right timeline, imagine a connected web. What if the word it could reach back to animal directly and instantly? When researchers finally built this web, they called it self-attention. Introduced in the 2017 landmark paper, Attention is All You Need. The core philosophy is elegant. Instead of waiting in line, every single word queries every other word. Simultaneously, and in parallel, nothing is ignored. Every word contributes to the meaning. But seeing the idea is one thing. How does the math actually work? Let's build the algorithm step by step from the ground up. Before any attention can happen, words must become numbers. Each word is mapped to a dense vector of real values. This is called an embedding. Think of it as the word's personality fingerprint. Cat might live near dog in this space and far from words like satellite. In our example, we have 3 words: the, cat, sat. Each becomes a vector of d numbers. We call these x1, x2, and x3. Stack all these vectors row by row, and you get the input matrix, called X. The shape of the matrix is 3 by 4, where 3 is the number of tokens and 4 is the dimension of each token. This matrix X is where self-attention begins. To compute attention, we project the input matrix X into 3 separate matrices. Query, key and value matrices. Each is derived by multiplying X against a distinct learned weight matrix during training. Let's isolate the query matrix. We multiply the input matrix X by the weight matrix WQ to produce the query matrix. Each row in the query matrix is a query vector representing a word. We take row 1 of X, representing our first token, and compute the dot product against each column of query weight matrix. This populates the first row of query matrix. The operation repeats for the remaining tokens. We now have our query matrix. Applying this exact logic across all 3 weight matrices yields Q, K, and V. These 3 matrices are the core representations that make self-attention possible. Now that we have our queries and keys, we can see how they interact. Recall that each query represents what a word is looking for, while each key represents what that word has to offer. To find the best matches between them, we calculate their similarity. By multiplying the query matrix by the transposed key matrix, we generate a grid of attention scores. Each row represents a word asking a question, and each column represents a word being evaluated. High values indicate a strong relationship, while low or negative values mean the words are unrelated. The model computes these scores for every possible word pair. Each result fills a specific cell in our attention grid. These numbers tell the model exactly how much focus to place on each word. Notice the high scores along the diagonal. This shows self-attention, where each word naturally attends to itself. This ensures the model keeps the original meaning of each word intact. However, We also see meaningful connections between different words. For example, the positive score between cat and sat shows the model has linked the word to its action. This grid serves as the raw attention map, the blueprint of word relationships. For now, these are just raw numbers. Next, we'll normalize them to create proper attention weights. These raw numbers look straightforward, but there's a catch. When the hidden dimension dk is large, those scores can explode in magnitude. Imagine vectors with 64 dimensions. Their raw alignment scores can easily reach 20, 30, or higher. If we feed these extreme values into a softmax function, it completely saturates. One token gets exactly 1, and the rest get 0. The gradients die, and the network stops learning. To fix this, the transformer architecture introduces a brilliant stabilization step. We divide the raw scores by the square root of dk. If our dimension is 64, we divide the scores by 8. Let's see the effect. The scores are compressed back into a healthy, zero-centered range. Now, when we apply softmax, the resulting probability distribution is smooth. This allows gradients to flow smoothly during backpropagation. This single division step is why it's called scale.product attention. Let's look at the complete formula. Query key transpose gives the raw alignment. Dividing by under root of dimension of key vector stabilizes the variance. And softmax converts them to valid attention weights. This elegant mathematical trick is the engine of large language models. After scaling the scores, we apply the softmax function. Softmax performs two vital operations. First, it exponentiates the values, amplifying their differences. Second, it normalizes them so they sum exactly to 1. We now have a valid probability distribution. For our first token, the resulting weights look like this. Notice how the highest score dominates. When we stack these distributions for all tokens, we form the full attention weight matrix. Every row of this matrix is a valid probability distribution. Every row sums to 1. This matrix reveals exactly how much focus each token places on the others. Look at the diagonal. Each word attends most strongly to itself. That makes intuitive sense. You always know your own meaning. But look further. Cat attends strongly to sat, the subject reaching for its verb. These are not programmed rules. The model learned these grammatical relationships purely from the math we just described. Now that our attention weights are ready, we can finally calculate the finished output of the self-attention layer. Every symbol is now familiar to you. Q is the question, K is the key, and V is the value. Now, watch what happens at the very end. We take our attention weights and compute a weighted sum of the value vectors. Each value gets multiplied by how much attention it received. 61% of these values, 25% of cat's values, and 14% of sat's values. Then we add them all together to get our output vector. The result is a brand new vector for each token. But let's look at what these vectors conceptually represent. The output for the is mostly itself, mixed with a bit of cat. The output for cat is a blend of itself and the word sat. And sat blends heavily with itself, incorporating its surrounding context. Every word has been updated with the context of the entire sentence. This is the true power of self-attention. We've seen how attention works for a single word. Now, let's zoom out and look at an entire sentence at once. This grid represents the full attention matrix. Rows are our queries and columns are our keys. Brighter colors mean stronger attention. And remember, because of softmax, every row must sum perfectly to 1. Watch how the weights distribute as the model processes the sequence. Each row reveals exactly what that specific word is focusing on. Notice the bright diagonal line. Every word pays strong attention to itself to retain its own core meaning. But the real magic happens off the diagonal. Cat strongly attends to sat. On connects directly to mat. And the article the correctly links itself to mat as well. The model wasn't programmed with grammar rules. It discovered these structural relationships purely from the math we just built. Let's put everything together and see the full pipeline of self-attention. We begin with our input tokens, the, cat, sat. Each is mapped to an embedding vector to form our input matrix X. The input matrix is then projected into three distinct matrices: query, key, and value. To compute how much focus each word should place on the others, we multiply the queries by the transposed keys and divide by the square root of the dimension. This produces our scaled attention scores. Next, we pass these raw scores through the softmax function. This normalizes them into proper attention weights, ensuring each row sums to exactly 1. Finally, we multiply these attention weights by the value matrix. Each output vector is now a weighted blend of the values, deeply enriched with contextual meaning. And there you have it, the complete self-attention mechanism. By letting every word interact with every other word, transformers capture the full structure and meaning of language. We started with one question. What does it mean? To answer it, a system must look at other words. Self-attention is not a trick. It is not just a matrix operation. Words do not exist in isolation. They exist in relationship to each other. Self-attention gives every word the ability to see the whole sentence and ask, "What do I need from you?" That one question, scaled across billions of parameters, is why language models finally began to understand us. Self-attention doesn't just process language. It teaches language to understand itself. But here is something to think about. What if a single word carries more than one meaning? Take the word bank. In this sentence, bank reaches toward deposit. It means a financial institution. But in this sentence, bank reaches toward river. A completely different concept. Same word, different world. A single attention head can only capture one of these relationships at a time. One head, one meaning. But what if we could attend to all meanings simultaneously? What if each word could be understood through multiple lenses at once? That idea is known as multi-head attention, and that is exactly where we are going in our next video.